speaking about a special country, Turkmenistan, and today we are at the Embassy of Turkmenistan with His Excellency Sapar Palvanov. And we will talk about the Turkmen neutrality as 2025 will mark 30 years of anniversary of Turkmen neutrality.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would be just happy to share our views about the neutrality and to try to explain what is the neutrality for us, for Turkmenistan, as a permanent neutrality, because it's the only country in the world. And the European audience also, it would be very interesting for them to know more about that.
Sure. So to begin, Turkmenistan, as we said, it's one of the world's permanently neutral states. But what does that really mean? And what are the key achievements of these 30 years?
When we speak about Turkmenistan, we should know that the peace and stability have always been the central values of Turkmen people, Turkmen society, and they came from our history, from our tradition. And so when Turkmenistan gained independence, we had to choose which path would best reflect these values and protect our future. And this is why in 1995, Turkmenistan had to make this historic decision for our people to be a neutral country and to have the permanent neutral status. And this is the country only in the world that is recognized by the United Nations. And this year it was the third time the special resolution was adopted by the United Nations. It demonstrates that our commitment to our this neutral status. So for us, neutrality is not only a legal status; it's a long-term strategy and has proven effective and continues to guide our relations with the world.
So building on this, what is the biggest misconception people in Europe have about Turkmenistan and the Turkmen neutrality?
I would say that sometimes neutrality is seen in Europe mainly as a very quiet position, almost as if a neutral country prefers to stay on the side. In our case, in case of Turkmenistan, our experience is completely different. For us, neutrality is an active policy, and it gives us the opportunity to work with all countries of the world, to cooperate with all parts of the world, and to focus on humanitarian cooperation, to focus on all possible directions in building bridges. Some people may also think the neutrality means silence, but in practice, neutrality helps us to focus on peace, dialogue, and support for the development, and it allows us to promote projects with our neighbors, even in this very complex region, having a direct neighbor like in Afghanistan. It gives us the very comfortable platform to work with all of them and to focus on the stability in the region and to continue humanitarian cooperation in difficult even moments. But so Turkmenistan neutrality is not about shipping back or stepping back, and it's about staying open and building trust and creating opportunities for cooperation, even when the international environment is complicated.
Moving to a more personal perspective, can you share a moment in your diplomatic career that showed the power of neutrality?
One moment that showed me the real power of neutrality comes from our work, joint collaboration with our neighbors, especially, as I mentioned, with Afghanistan. For many years, the country faced instability. Afghanistan and the many partners around the world viewed it only through the lens of security challenges. And for us, as a neutral neighbor, the approach was different, very different. And because of our neutrality, Turkmenistan was able to keep dialogue with all sides and focus on practical cooperation that supports the long-term stability. We are realizing very huge infrastructure projects on the ground in Afghanistan. And maybe you have heard about the recent launch, a part of this construction tapped to Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and the India pipeline project on the ground in Afghanistan. This is not just a policy, or this is not just the political project, it's more humanitarian. With these projects, we are going to achieve more stability in the region. We try to be a more humanitarian bridge between this unstable part of the world and with our world. And the simple things like projects, when we talk about Afghanistan, this new transport route, and all this can improve daily life for local people there. And it was a clear reminder that neutrality gives us the ability to help in a way that is accepted by everyone. And it does not depend on political positions. And this experience convinced me that the neutrality is a real instrument for building trust, and it opens doors when other approaches may face resistance.
Thank you for your insight. Turning to the European audience, which message can you give to the Europeans who want to understand Turkmenistan better?
My message is to Europeans would be Turkmenistan is a country in Central Asia that, despite its complex geography, makes a valuable contribution to regional stability and works every day to build bridges of friendship and with the outside of the world. Even as a relatively small country, we promote peaceful initiatives on the international stage. For example, there are lots of examples, resolutions specifically focused on the stability are adopted by the United Nations. Just recent resolution, we have a very good tradition of having the name of the year. For example, this year it's International Year of Peace and Trust. It's the relevant resolution was adopted by the initiative of Turkmenistan, and our focus is that to have more peace dialogues in this year, to have more the events and more messages to the world about the peace, about the necessity of this peace. You know, the world nowadays, it's more complicated, and we need these kind of messages more, specifically in these days.
So other countries like Switzerland and Austria are neutral as well. What makes Turkmenistan different?
Yes, you mentioned about Switzerland and Austria. These countries have respected long traditions of neutrality, and Turkmenistan views their experience with great appreciation. At the same time, our approach has its own unique character that reflects both our history and the moment in which we became independent. Turkmenistan chose neutrality in 1995 as a completely sovereign decision. And it was not the result of past conflict or an international agreement. It was a deliberate choice made at a time when the world was changing very fast, and a new geopolitical lines were forming. And we wanted a policy that would keep us open to all partners and protect our independence in a fair and, truth be told, the balanced way. Another special element is that Turkmenistan's neutrality is recognized by the entire United Nations and written directly into our constitution. And this gives it a clear legal foundation and makes it long-term commitment for the state and for our foreign policy. What also makes our model special is its focus on preventive diplomacy. And we don't wait for a crisis to happen, we support dialogue in advance. The United Nations, the only in the world, there is a center in Turkmenistan, United Nations Center of Preventive Diplomacy. And during these years, from its establishment in Turkmenistan, this center demonstrates its effectiveness. And so Turkmenistan's neutrality is modern, active, and future-oriented, and it helps us build trust in a complex region, as I mentioned, and create a space for cooperation at a time when the world needs more dialogue and fewer decisions.
Thank you for that reflection. If you look at Turkmenistan international relations, how does that neutrality guide Turkmenistan's diplomatic relations with Europe and European Union?
Neutrality gives us a very clear and a stable framework for working with the European Union, with all partners in the world. And because we are not part of any military or political blocs, and our dialogue with the European Union is based on practical cooperation and a mutual respect, and a long-term invests rather than an alignment with one side or another side. This helps us focus on areas where our goals truly match. And with the European Union, the work on transport corridors, renewable energy, methane reduction, and climate adaptation and digitalization. And these are fields where neutrality as an advantage. It allows us to engage openly without political pressure and without the expectation that we must choose a camp. Neutrality also makes Turkmenistan a predictable partner. And our foreign policy does not change with global shifts or with the tensions between major powers. And this stability gives confidence to our European partners and creates a space where cooperation can grow naturally. For example, the EU and Central Asia now have a strong connectivity, and this April of this year, we could elevate this interregional cooperation, Central Asia and European Union, into a new high level. We have now strategic relationship between Central Asia and the European Union. All this gives us, truth be told, more power, more the possibility to work closely.
Looking ahead, what is the biggest opportunity in Turkmenistan in the next decade for as a neutral state?
I would say that Turkmenistan, we want to be a hub in the region between the continents. Now, the geographical location of Turkmenistan and also Central Asia, we are becoming the more stable, more secure bridge between two continents. And also, we shouldn't forget about our neighbors because we are becoming also the very stable bridge between South Asia and Central Asia. And in the future, I want to see the Turkmenistan as a hub of when we talk about the connectivity and transport. It doesn't only covers the transport, it also covers the exchange in other spheres, for example, the cultural exchange, education, humanitarian sphere. It should cover all this. When you have a bridge, you can have the trade connection, you can have exchange in culture, in education, all of this. If we come to the history, the Great Silk Road gave us to exchange between these, even traditional exchange and a culture and a trade. And we have to renew this because we have a very strong history in Central Asia, and we use it to be a hub between the continents in the past. And now we are making very positive steps forward on this path.
Speaking about the Turkmen identity, if you could show something to the world, one Turkmen cultural symbol that represents peace and neutrality, what would that be?
This is a not easy question because all Turkmen traditional elements, all of them encourage the peace, stability, and I would say the neutrality. And let me choose one of them. I would choose the cultural symbol that reflects the peace and neutrality. It would be Turkmen carpet, handmade Turkmen carpet, and it's much more than a traditional craft. For us, it carries a deeper message about how peace is created. And in the past, when a family needed a new carpet, the women of the entire village used it to gather together and to work it as one community. It was an act of cooperation, patience, and shared responsibility. Every pattern on the carpet was a sign of unity, and it showed that important things are achieved when people work side by side. And this spirit is very close to the idea of neutrality. Neutrality, in our understanding, is not a political distance. It's the ability to bring people together and to create a space where everyone feels respected. Mm-hmm. And it's a belief that stability comes from cooperation, not confrontation. And so the Turkmen carpet is a symbol of how we see peace, many threads, many hands, and one common work, a reminder that the harmony is built step by step. Can you imagine that one family from the village needs the Turkmen carpet, and all the women from the village, they gather together to make the carpet for this family. It only unites. It, as I mentioned, builds only trust between the families. And we can use this idea wider, you know.
Mm-hmm. So for the final question, how do you imagine Turkmenistan in 10 years if its neutrality continues to guide the country and the wider region?
Very good question. If Turkmenistan continues to follow its path of neutrality, then in 10 years I see our country as a place where peace, stability, and cooperation feel natural. And neutrality helps us stay open to all partners and independent in our decisions. And this gives us the chance to become one of the main connecting points between regions that today need more trust and understanding. Now it's reality on the ground. Turkmenistan is becoming the platform for international dialogues. In this December, we are hosting in Turkmenistan the big dialogue conference, specifically focused on our 30th anniversary of neutrality and more international peace and a trusted cooperation. I would say that peace forum in Turkmenistan. And we invited all leaders of the world. Can you imagine the event that is invited all leaders of the world without any exception? Yes, we don't divide the world into the friendly, unfriendly countries. The concept of our Turkmen foreign policy is to work with all countries of the world. Even you don't have the same political views, but we have to keep the bridge. And this is how I imagine Turkmenistan in 10 years: stronger, more connected, and ready to serve as a positive and a constructive partner for the region and for the international community.
Thank you for your insight, dear Ambassador. Thank you making clear for us and for our audience about Turkmenistan and the Turkmen neutrality. Thank you.
Thank you very much.